This video will be different from my usual ones because in this one I will be explaining some of the process, not step by step, but rather explaining how I achieved some effects and how I used some tools for making this photo manipulation. So if you want more videos like this, then comment down below. As always, the first thing I do is choose and mask the section of the image that I don't want. It's as simple as using any selection tool to select the part and then masking it. Always have an idea of how you intend to approach this composition. This section will tell you what image to use and how to make that image fit into your composition. Personally, I have a habit of matching colors very early, but it's best if you position all of your assets first, and to match the color, you can always use any color adjustment. There are no limits, but color balance and color mixer are my favorite approaches. Lighting for me always starts with darkening the entire image and then adding lights only where they are needed. To add lights, I duplicated the layer and then increased the brightness and hue based on the image's light source. When painting lights and shadows, changing the aspect ratio of your brush can produce some amazing results. Here is the focus of this composition, and because of its shape, removing the background becomes very messy, but I used a couple of techniques to remove the background. For this, I used levels to create contrast between backgrounds and the subject. Here I used blur in the mask to hide the messy edges. Here I also darken the whole image, so I can add light where it's needed. For color matching, the best thing to do is look at the color of shadows and highlights and only adjust the slider based on the color you want in that light range. Check out my video to learn how to match light and color precisely. In that video, I have explained some of the key concepts for matching color and light. I used the same method for adding light as I used before for the background. Here I use the 3D transform tool to place my shadow, and a directional shadow will always make your composition look a lot better, but keep in mind how reality works because the wrong shadow will make it look worse. Here I added a contact shadow to my subject, so it doesn't look out of place. For this, you can always use overlay in soft light blending modes, but multiply will also work. And adding shadow to your subject will always define the direction of your light source, so it's just as important as adding light, and always remember that shadow is the absence of light, so paint that shadow to areas of your subject where you think light is difficult to reach. Adding this planet to this composition was a little tricky, so I had to look at some reference images so I could get an idea of how I could add this planet. Here, I know that planets are far away, so I added it behind the clouds. And understand that the planet is outside of the atmosphere, so it will also have some atmospheric effects. I wasn't satisfied with the existing lighting, so I repeated the process of adding lighting again. Don't underestimate the power of clean edges. Because of my messy selection, I left many jagged edges in a messy mask, so I cleaned the mask and also cleaned the edges. Investing time in a clean mask will have a far more massive improvement in better-looking photo manipulation. Here I started adding rim light. When your light source is harsh, then your subject might need rim light, but don't overdo it because it will look very awful, so always remember what looks good to you. And while adding glow will always improve your lighting, don't go overboard. At this point, I had completed the photo composition and was starting to make some small adjustments for the final look of the image. GIMP has this amazing lens flare filter. It gives a very realistic lens flare effect and is one of the best filters for creative photo composition.